Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kirk from LaneFlix Media. I have a little mission for everyone watching and for, everyone that follows me. I want to solve the ongoing mystery of Mulholland Drive, a film by David Lynch from 2001. A buddy of mine and I, basically my producer, Tommy J, and I, are obsessed with the clues that David Lynch has given out about Mulholland Drive, because typically he doesn't talk about his movies, he doesn't explain his movies really ever. So it was very, I don't want to say strange, but it was very unexpected whenever the world got 10 clues to figuring out the mystery of Mulholland Drive. And you can look them up. I'm going to list them as I go along. But yeah, it's a really interesting movie. If you haven't watched it, this whole thing's going to be spoilers. So I'm just going to go through, this is going to be part one, and I don't know how many parts we're going to do, but this is my notes, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but this is basically my notes and things that I've gathered, and if it's totally wrong, I'm sorry, but that's just like first guess kind of things. Yeah, this is solving the cinematic mystery of Mulholland Drive. So, like I said, we have 10 clues. The first clue being, pay particular attention to the beginning of the film. At least 2 clues are revealed before the credits. Meaning, we get 2 clues to what the movie means before the credits even start. So, the only one that I personally gathered that I could remember was the woman laying in the bed. And I remembered vaguely something else. Of course, the intro you remember, but I didn't figure that was a clue. I figured that was just like an aesthetic mood setter kind of thing. But I suppose that actually is one of the hints, because I did a little reading the other day about the hints and what people think, and I guess the intro dance sequence is a clue, as well as the girl laying in the bed. So yeah, found that out. I find that really interesting. There's a lot of theories as to what the dance sequence could mean. We know by the end of the movie who the girl in the bed is. So hint number 2 is, notice the appearances of the red lampshade. And the first one I remembered a phone ringing and then nothing else. That's all I remembered. I know there's other things about it. And then the second time, I believe, not Betty, but Diane answers the phone. And I don't remember what they talked about. That's what I mean. Every time we do a part, I think we're going to at least skim through it and try to figure out one mystery at a time. So it might be a 10-part series. I don't know. I'm not going to claim I have solved any of this, but this is just my theory. And this is our theory, because Tommy's going to jump in a couple of videos and help me out. So yeah, that's all I remembered. I guess the red lampshade is, of course, most electronics in David Lynch's work have some kind of like doomy kind of apocalyptic feel to them. So I don't think any electronics are ever supposed to be good in Lynch's work, but could be wrong. The third hint is, can you hear the title of the film Adam Kesher is auditioning actresses for? Is it mentioned again? I honestly didn't remember the title at all. I had to look it up. It's the Sylvia North story, and it's mentioned again at the dinner party toward the end of the film, and someone mentions that Camilla was really good in it. So by the end of the movie, I suppose the Sylvia North story has finished filming and it's been released. So that adds a weird like time warp quality to the whole plot of the film. So that's a clue. I didn't gather a whole lot from it. Like I said, I don't want to read too much of other people's opinions, because I'd like to give my own theory and like what I personally feel from it. Hint number 4, an accident is a terrible event. Notice the location of the accident. Like, the only location I could think of was Mulholland Drive, was the road that they were on. But I suppose I keep saying suppose, I don't know why. I guess the location, meaning geographically, like they're near a cliff, has something to do with it. But yeah, Mulholland Drive was all I could honestly remember. So then who gives a key and why? That was one of the things I was focused on in my most recent watching the movie. Coco gives Betty a key like first 10 minutes of the movie, and it's because Aunt Ruth isn't there to let her in. And then there's another key. Camilla, or I guess Rita, takes the key from Betty's purse at one point. And then by the end of the movie, the assassin guy is supposed to give Diane the key after he's killed Camilla. Those are the only keys I remember. I think there's more instances with keys, but those are the only keys I remember being given from someone to someone else, or like from someone's person to someone else. So, hint number 6 is notice the robe, the ashtray, and the coffee cup. The robe, I didn't notice per se, only because I was looking. Camilla or Rita wears it toward the beginning, and then Diane, I believe, is wearing the same robe by the end of the movie when she's by herself. But that's the only robe kind of thing I remember going on. The ashtray I did remember was a possession of Diane's that she needed to get back from the lady she swapped apartments with. And the ashtray is also seen when Camilla and I think it's Diane, I don't think it's Betty, it's Camilla, or Rita or Camilla, and then Diane are making out, and they're having like a love scene. On the coffee table in the middle of the living room is the same like piano shaped ashtray, so that's something. And then the coffee cup I honestly didn't remember, so I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. Hint number 7, what is felt, realized, and gathered at the Club Silencio? This apparently is a big turning point in the movie. This is supposedly where Rita or Camilla wakes up from the dream of Betty, and Betty wasn't real the whole time. Betty was a figment of Rita/Camilla's imagination. But to me, it's insane if that's true, because I think Rita/Camilla is a projection, if not in the imagination of Diane. She's just a projection of a darker version of the real Camilla. So this movie like goes all over the place. I love the Club Silencio scene, but I will have to admit the first 2 times I watched it, I didn't get it at all. I didn't understand what was happening. But apparently Betty has her little episode because she's kind of disappearing into the dream world, and Rita/Camilla has to wake up from that dream. Realization, I guess, being Rita/Camilla's vision of Betty, and then what's gathered is that she has to move on from Betty. I need to do a lot of investigation into this, and like I said, I need help. So if I have any Lynch fans, if I have any Twin Peaks fans, if I have any people that just like surrealist film fans, please let me know what you think, because I really want to discuss it with people. Hint number 8 is did talent alone help Camilla? That's a loaded question because there are 2 Camillas. There's the real Camilla and then Rita/Camilla. The idea that talent alone helped either of them, I think the answer is no, because Camilla, the real Camilla, is in a relationship with the director by the end of the movie. So I don't want to be, assuming things, but if we're to assume that, then we should also assume that she's in the movie because she's in a relationship with the director. And the other thing is too, she also, if I'm not mistaken, was being pushed by the mafia to be in the movie. So that isn't her talent. That's some, malevolent, we'll say, force trying to push her into what she's doing, I guess. Hint number 9 is notice the occurrences surrounding the man behind Winkies. And this one is terribly interesting to me. This to me was the most interesting after having watched Twin Peaks: The Return with the woodsman and the dark spirits that kind of come around there. And if you look back at Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, the deleted scenes from that, there's a kind of lumberjack looking guy that isn't all blacked out, like charcoaled out, but he is in the same kind of getup, in the same kind of outfit. So he could be considered a woodsman, I think. To me, the man behind Winkies is a woodsman from Twin Peaks because, yes, there's a little kind of waxy substance on his face, but I think that is just to it's weird because there's not really any of that on the woodsman in Twin Peaks: The Return. So it's kind of like, is that what that means? Is this trying to connect, or is The Return trying to connect to Mulholland Drive? Because I know originally Mulholland Drive was supposed to be a spin-off about Audrey Horne, so it has some roots in Twin Peaks. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But the first occurrence is a man describing his nightmare and describing it to a friend of his in a diner called Winky's. They go out back after he describes an event that happens, you know, in his dream, and he's like, look, like, you gotta face your fears, you know, there's no problem, like, you'll be all right, let's just go back there and maybe it'll help. So I don't think he says all that, but you just get that emotion from it. They get to the dumpster in the back, and the man, I'm assuming the man behind Winky's, when they say that, is the woodsman type character, not the actual guy, who's also in Twin Peaks: The Return, which is crazy. So then the man behind Winky's emerges from behind the dumpster and scares the man, super full of fright, really scary. Guess you could call it occurrence is the man behind Winky's holding the blue cube by the end of the film and dropping it into a paper bag, and then dropping that just like aimlessly on the ground. And then the two old people that run out from the bag are the same two old people that introduced Betty into Hollywood, and kind of, I guess the man was the husband of the lady that she rode the airplane with. But I took it as malevolent spirits when I first saw it, but reading a little bit, people have said that it's actually a representation of Betty's innocence / Diane's innocence, and by the end of the film, because she does what she does, they've become so small, and it's almost like her innocence is gone. And I could see that working a little bit more than just like their spooky ghost spirits, but it could be anything again. So hint number 10, this is the last hint. Where is Aunt Ruth? And Tommy and I found ourselves like trying to find out that question, find the answer to that question, like watching the whole movie, and yeah, neither of us could figure out where she was. I mean, I guess in the one scene it seemed like she was in the next room, because right before Rita / Camilla disappears, she is in the other room, and she walks in and she's like, and then she just kind of walks back out. So you're like, and that kind of interaction to me gives the illusion, if not the aesthetic, of a ghost film, of something about supernatural and spirits and stuff like that. So is that Rita / Camilla after she's been killed in the car accident, or what? But yeah, so that's part one. We're going to do a lot more. Like I said, we're going to dive a lot deeper. This was just like jumping back in after a few months of not seeing Mulholland Drive and seeing a little bit more Lynch stuff. Coming back, trying to just get a fresh take and see what I think. I'm sure I'm wrong about like 90% of it. So, and honestly, who's to say anyone's right or wrong? Because I don't think David Lynch will ever come out and tell anyone officially like, oh yeah, that's what it means. Like, if you're a Lynch fan, you know how he is. So, but yeah, if you guys could please comment, like, and subscribe, I really appreciate the views, and I really appreciate the conversation. So if you guys want to talk to me about Twin Peaks, about David Lynch, I love all Lynch stuff. Tommy and I we're planning on doing September Peaks, which is something I'm trying to actually create. We're going to take the whole month of September and do videos on little patches from the show Twin Peaks, and obviously the film, and then some of the big landmark stuff that happens in The Return. And we're going to try to cover it all in September. So, and then this October we have the LaneFlix Horror Fest. So we're going to do 10 movies, 10 horror films, some classics, some that are just like my personal favorite. I'm making I'm DJing the October Horror Fest. So yeah, stay tuned for hashtag September Peaks and the 2021 October LaneFlix Horror Fest. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great day.